This is spring test number 2. We're going from sections 1.1 all the way through 6.2. This is part 2 of test number 2, starting at number 25. First one says C minus 12 is greater than -1. Get rid of minus 12 by adding it. If you add it on the left, do the same thing to the right. That'll cancel out and leave us with just C on the left. -1 plus 12 is going to be positive 11. And all we did was add it right there, so it's going to stay as greater than. C is greater than 11. Number 26 says -5.3 is greater than or equal to 6.7 plus 4.3 plus Q. Notice the right side of that inequality, 6.7 plus 4.3 plus Q, is not simplified. You can combine like terms, 6.7 and 4.3. If you add 6 and 4 together, you get 10, and then 0.7 and 0.3 are complements of each other, so you're actually going to come up with positive 11 in that case. So it's 11 plus Q on the right side. We'll bring down our -5.3 is greater than or equal to. Then get rid of positive 11 or plus 11 by subtracting it. If you subtract 11 on the right, subtract 11 on the right, on the left, and that's -5.3 minus 11, which means you're going to add up the absolute values, and it'll be 16.3, and you're going to keep the common sign negative. So -16.3 on the left, the right side will cancel out 11 minus 11, and you have a positive Q. All we did was subtract, so we're going to leave our inequality to say greater than or equal to. So what you have is, for number 26, -16.3 is greater than or equal to Q. If you want to rewrite that to where you can see it, to where you show the Q first, put Q on the left and -16.3 on the right, and make sure your inequality faces the same direction. Notice the point is on the same side as Q, so put the point on the same side of Q on the bottom one. So if you would rewrite it, it'd be rewritten as Q is less than or equal to -16.3. For number 27, get rid of -7 by adding it. Add it to the left, add it to the right. 28 plus 7 is going to be 35. Bring down your -5x. All we did was add 7, so less than is going to stay less than. So you have -5x is less than 35. Get rid of -5 times x by dividing by -5. If you do it on the left, divide by 5 on the right. Cancel out and leave you with just x on the left. 35 divided by -5 is a -7, since it's a positive divided by a negative. And since you divided both sides by a negative, you're going to change the sign from less than to greater than. So number 27, x is greater than -7. Number 28 says a plus 8 minus 2 times a minus 12 is greater than 0. So we have to simplify using our order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. We would do it inside parentheses first. We can't put a minus 12 together because they're not like terms. We would do any exponents. We don't have any of those. The next thing we have is multiplication and division. We have some multiplication. More specifically, we have the distributive property. -2 times a is -2a, and -2 times -12 is a positive 24. Bring the rest of our stuff down. A plus 8 and greater than 0. Notice nothing is going across the equal sign here. All we're doing is we're combining all of our like terms. We're combining our term a with our term -2a. When we do that, a minus 2a is going to be -1a. And we're combining our terms plus 8 or positive 8 and positive 24. 8 plus 24 is going to be a positive 32. So you have -a plus 32 is greater than 0. We still want to find out what a is. So if you bring positive 32 over, in order to undo it, you subtract it. If you subtract it on the left, do likewise on the right, and that'll cancel and leave you with just -a on the left. Is greater than, since all we did was subtract, -32. The last thing you have to do, get rid of negative times a or -1 times a by dividing by -1. If you do it on the left, do the same on the right. Negative divided by negative is a positive 32. Cancels out and leaves you with just a, but since we divided by a negative, greater than becomes less than. A is less than 32. For number 29, get rid of b minus 8. You have to distribute 2 times b to get 2b, and 2 times -8 to get -16 is greater than 12. Move your -16 over by adding it. If you add it to the left, again, add 16 to the right. You still have 2b on the left, and 12 plus 16 is going to be 28. All you did was add, so you keep greater than. Get rid of 2 times something by dividing by 2, and it'll cancel and leave you with B. And divide the left by 2, you got to divide the right by 2 as well. 28 divided by 2 is 14. You divided, but you only divided by a positive number, so keep the greater than symbol as greater than. You have to distribute again on number 30. 8 times W is 8W, and 8 times 12 is positive 96. So you have 12 plus 10W is greater than or equal to 8W plus 96. Move all your W's to the same side. This is positive 8W, so subtract it. If you subtract it on the right, do likewise on the left. 10W minus 8W is 2W. Bring the rest down. You had a positive 12. It's positive 2W, so plus 2W. All we did was subtract 8W, so keep greater than or equal to. 8W's will cancel on the left, a positive 96. Get rid of your positive or plus 12 by subtracting it. You subtract it on the left, do the same on the right. 96 minus 12 is 84. We'll cancel those out. 2W, and all we did was subtract, so we'll keep our greater than or equal to as greater than or equal to. Last thing you have to do, 2 times W, undo that by dividing by 2. If you do it on the left, do the same on the right. Cancel out the left, W. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. So you have 42. All you did was divide by a positive number, so keep greater than or equal to. W is greater than or equal to 42. 31 says 12x minus 3x plus 11 is greater than 4x minus 17 minus 9x. So you have to get rid of this negative 1. You have to distribute it. Negative 1 times 17 is negative 17. Negative 1 times negative 9x is positive or plus 9x. Bring the rest of everything else down. 12x minus 3x plus 11. Plus 11 is greater than 4x minus 17 plus 9x. Combine all of your like terms. 12x and negative 3x on the left can be combined to say 9x. Bring down your plus 11. It's greater than 4x and positive 9x can be combined on the right to say 13x minus 17. So in the next line, you should have 9x plus 11 is greater than 13x minus 17. Move all your x's to the same side, and this time, again, we're going to move them to the left to make it easier for us. This is positive 13x, so subtract 13x. If you do it on the right, do the same thing to the left. 9x minus 13x is a negative 4x. Bring down plus 11. All we did was subtract, so greater than is going to stay greater than. These will cancel, and all we have left on the right is negative 17. Get rid of plus 11 on the left by subtracting it. If you do that on the left, do the same thing on the right. Negative 17 minus 11 is going to be a negative 28. Put them together. Bring down your negative 4x. Cancel out your 11 minus 11. All you did was subtract, so greater than is going to remain the same. And then get rid of negative 4 times something by dividing by negative 4. If you do it on the left, do the same thing on the right. X and negative divided by negative is a positive 7. And since you divided by a negative number, greater than is going to reverse and say less than. X is less than 7 for number 31. For number 32, you're going to move your D terms over. You have positive 15, so subtract it. You subtract 15 on the right, do the same thing on the left. 11D minus 15D is negative 4D. Bring down your minus 9. It's less than or equal to 3. Get rid of your minus 9 by adding 9. If you add it on the left, add 9 on the right. What you're left with on the left is negative 4D. All you did was add, so keep it as less than or equal to. 3 plus 9 is 12. Get rid of negative 4 times something by dividing by negative 4. If you do it on the left, do the same thing on the right. D's value, 12 divided by negative 4 is going to be a negative 3. And since we divided by a negative number, less than or equal to becomes greater than or equal to negative 3. D is greater than or equal to negative 3. The last problem, number 33, says, what number would you subtract from each side of the inequality to solve y plus 3.8 is greater than 16? If you wanted to move y over to the right, you'd subtract y, but it's pointless to do that. You want to get y to say something right after it, like you wanted to say equals, or you wanted to say less than or greater, and you wanted y to be isolated. You want it to be all by itself on the left. So the only thing that's not y on the left is plus 3 over 8. So you would subtract 3 over 8 on both sides in order to solve it. And again, that's all you need to do. If you went ahead and did that, you'd have got a bunch of funky numbers. The easiest way to do it, and again, you didn't have to do this. All you had to do was subtract 3/8 on both sides. Would be y is greater than 15 and 5/8 would be using mixed numbers to make it a whole lot easier.